What's up, guys? It's your boy MatPack420 here with Life for Liberty Gaming, and today I'm going to talk about this Jason Schreier article about Sony here. I've got my issues with Jason Schreier, like big issues. Okay, this guy is the most anti-capitalist motherfucker you'll meet on the internet, yet he works for Bloomberg. Oh man, the guy's a full of himself asshole, fucking leftist. The thing is, though, for every 5 or 6 articles that he does, there's one that's legitimately good and like legitimately worth the shit. Now, the guy has made a career off of developers complaining about overtime and crunch. God forbid you got to work some long days. You know, it's not like there are people out there that don't work 12, 14, 16-hour days in the hot 100-degree summer weather, but you know, a lot of these guys are stuck at home working from home in their cushy air-conditioned apartments. Whatever. Anyway, so let's get into this here. I've talked about this before, where Sony's basically abandoned their Japanese audience. They've closed down a lot of their Japanese studios. They only have American studios open, and they're only focusing on like big blockbuster titles that are international hits, as opposed to the smaller stuff they used to put in between. And you know, Sony's lost a lot of its magic to me. You know, back in the day, the PS2, PS3 days, specifically the PS2 days, there was a lot of smaller games, a lot of great Japanese titles. They had so many exclusives, and the pumps of games were just pumped out. First party games, third party developed games, like exclusive games, just they were pumped out on PS2. And it doesn't feel that way to me with PlayStation now. You get big releases from them, but there's less of them. So, and then like Spider-Man Miles Morales, to me that's basically glorified DLC. They charge $60 for, like, or $50 for, or whatever. That was fucking DLC. It's, you know, whatever. Let's this one's a longer one, so I'm gonna read some of the more important parts here. But Sony's obsession with blockbusters is stirring unrest within PlayStation Empire. A small team had big ambitions for The Last of Us 2 remake, but Sony handed the work to Star Studio Naughty Dog. First off, do we really need a Last of Us remake? We just got a remaster, and I've soured on that franchise. The Last of Us 2 is a fucking massive piece of shit, and I hate that game, okay? Sony Core Visual Arts Service Group has long been the unsung hero of many hit PlayStation video games. The San Diego-based operation has finished off games designed at other Sony-owned studios within animation, art, and other content and development. But about 3 years ago, a handful of influential figures within the Visual Arts Service Group decided they wanted to have more creative control and lead game directions rather than being supporting actors on popular titles such as Spider-Man and Uncharted. Michael Mumbauer, who founded the Visual Arts Service Group in 2007, recruited the group of about 30 developers internally from neighboring game studios to form a new development unit within Sony. The idea was to expand upon some of the company's most successful franchises, and the team began working on a remake for the 2013 hit The Last of Us for the PS5. But Sony never fully acknowledged the team's existence or gave them the funding and support needed to succeed a highly competitive video game market. The studio never even got its own name. Instead, Sony moved ownership of The Last of Us remake to its original creator, Naughty Dog, a Sony-owned studio behind many of the company's best-selling AI. That's great. Okay, so I guess this studio, for whatever reason, was making a Last of Us remake for the PS5, and they were just kind of doing it on the side. They weren't even an official studio, and then they're like, oh, what are you doing over here? Oh, this is neat. Hey, Naughty Dog, finish this. Now, again, I don't know why we're doing a Last of Us remake, okay? Number one, the franchise probably hasn't ever been as low as it is as far as opinions go. Secondly, we literally just got a remake. This game's, not even 8 years old now? Like, are you kidding me? Like, the game came out at the very end of the PS3's life cycle, got a remaster on the PS4, and then now we're getting a remake. I like the game, but the game's not that fucking good. Okay, it doesn't deserve all this fucking hype and all this fucking dick sucking. The game is not that good, especially the second one. The second one is complete fucking utter garbage. Deflated, the small group's leadership had largely disbanded, according to interviews with the 8 people familiar with the operation. Many, including Mumbauer, have left the company entirely. Mumbauer declined to comment, and others asked not to be named, discussing private information. A representative for Sony declined to comment or provide interviews. The team's failure highlighted the complex hierarchy of video game development, and in particular, Sony's conservative approach to making games for PS5. The Japanese conglomerate owns about a dozen studios across the world as part of its PlayStation Studios label, but in recent years, it's prioritizing games made by its most successful developers. Studios such as Santa Monica, California-based Naughty Dog and Amsterdam-based Guerrilla Games spent tens of millions of dollars to make games with the expectation that the investment will pay off exponentially. And they usually do. Hits include 2018 God of War, 2020 Last of Us Part 2, that game sucked, are exclusive to PlayStation console, helping Sony sell some 114 million of the PS4. Rival Microsoft has taken the opposite approach, relying on a wide array of studios to feed its Netflix-like subscription service, Xbox Game Pass, which allows users to pay a monthly fee for unlimited access to a variety of games. See, yeah, Microsoft is the exact opposite approach. See, Sony is betting on the Hollywood tactic. We're gonna make sequels, and we're gonna make big blockbuster games. We're gonna release like 3 or 4 of them a year, and they're gonna sell really, really well. We're gonna make millions and millions of dollars. Xbox, on the other hand, has got their Game Pass. Okay, and in order to keep people subscribed, in order to keep people playing, you need content. Okay, so they're buying up all these studios, they're getting up all these indie games, and they're getting up every last crumb they can get to throw in that fucking thing. And you know what? Game Pass is a fantastic deal. There are games all over that thing. I mean, Game Pass for PC, another great deal. You know, there's something for everybody on that fucking service. And it's $10 a month, $15 a month if you know do it at PC too, or you can just do PC for $5 a month if you don't want to do that. It's a pretty neat deal. There are games that I never would have picked up or knew about if it wasn't for Game Pass. The Ori games are fucking... those games are so good. They're so good, I bought them on Switch. Okay? It's a fantastic fucking service. And Sony, they need to step up with their game. Alright? You got Microsoft putting MLB The Show day and date on the Game Pass. And then what does Sony do? They put the Avengers on PS Now. The fucking Avengers, and it's not even the PS5 version if you have a PS5. It's the fucking PS4 version. Nonsense. All right, so these fucking Sony's like, I said it earlier. I don't know if I tweeted this out or if I fucking did this on a YouTube comment, but I said Sony has been stepping in the shit, and instead of stopping and cleaning the shit off their shoe, they're just keep on trotting it, and it's getting everywhere. And you're like, dude, you got shit on your shoe. Quit fucking stomping around. Like, what are you doing? Oh, fuck you, dude. It's fucking, we're Sony, okay? Well, if we want to get shit on your carpet, we're going to get shit on your carpet. Like, dude, stop it. Clean your shoes, Sony. Sony's focus on exclusive blockbusters has come at the expense of niche teams and studios within the PlayStation organization, leading to a high turnover and less choice for players. Last week, Sony reorganized a development office in Japan, resulting in mass departures of people who worked on less well-known but acclaimed games such as Gravity Rush and Everybody's Golf. The company has informed developers that they no longer want to produce smaller games that are only successful in Japan, Bloomberg has reported. Yeah, it's like, you know, but that was the magic of Sony, man. The magic of PlayStation was they had all those smaller Japanese and all those smaller like titles that are now starting to find their way to Game Pass. Games like Cuphead, people are like, "Oh, fucking Cuphead! It's just a little, it's just a little indie little deal." Dude, that's a great game, okay? And it's an older game, but there's a fucking huge fan base for that fucking game, and they're salivating for the more content, and you know, their little fan bases like that. Like I said, I love those Ori games. I would never have touched those games or seen those games because like it just. Games are expensive, and even if it's like $20, $30, I look at them like, dude, I can't, you know, I don't want to spend money on that. But if it's a subscription and it's already on there, and I'm got nothing to play, why not? You know, so this fixation on teams that churn out hits is creating unrest across Sony's portfolio of game studios. Oregon-based Sony Ben, best known for the 2019 open world action Days Gone, has tried tried unsuccessfully to pitch a sequel that year. According to people familiar with the proposal, although the first game has been profitable, its development had been lengthy and critical reception was mixed, so Days Gone 2 was not seen as a viable option. See, that sucks. That's what I wanted to get into here. Uh, Days Gone, it's a decent game. I didn't pick it up, but I know people that loved it, and yeah, it was mixed. There was some issues, but over time, it got a fan base that really want a sequel, and that fan base has grown. But yeah, it sucks. So they'd rather do a remake of The Last of Us as opposed to do a sequel to a smaller game. And I get that it's a sequel and stuff, but at the same time, Days Gone is a newer, fresher franchise. And like I said, if I was head of Sony, I'd be like, people are kind of sour on The Last of Us right now. Maybe we should do Days Gone 2 and see where that goes. But whatever. Sony used to be taking risks. Sony used to be about taking risks. They don't want to take any risks anymore. They're turning into Hollywood. They just want to give you sequels and fucking pump out the same bullshit and the same woke bullshit. Like I said, The Last of Us 2 is garbage. I hate that fucking game. It was the gameplay was solid, but the story that game is driven by story. That's just terrible. And then spoiler, like not that anyone fucking cares. If you already played it, you played it. But when they cut off that bitch's fucking fingers, right? She goes back and plays guitar, and I'm thinking, Tony Iommi. I'm like, Tony Iommi. He fucking whatever. Fuck these people. I hate these people. I do. Whatever. Instead, one team at the studio was assigned to help Naughty Dog with the multiplayer game, while a second group was assigned to work on a new Uncharted game with the supervision from Naughty Dog. Some staff, included top-tier leads, were unhappy with the arrangement and left. Ben's development feared they might be absorbed into Naughty Dog, and the studio's leadership asked to be taken off the Uncharted project. They got their wish last month, and they're now working on a new game of their own. Okay, well, that's cool, I guess. Emphasizing big hits can be counterproductive because sometimes games that start small can turn into massive successes. Massive successes. In 2020, Sony didn't put much marketing muscle behind the quirky game creation system Dreams by the PlayStation-owned Media Molecule in the UK. As a result, PlayStation may have missed out on its own version of Roblox, a similar video game tool. Parent company Roblox Corp went public earlier this year and is now laid at $45 billion. Yeah, of course. Alright, I'm going to try and skip ahead here because this article is long and annoying. I'll link it in the description here. I'm gonna link the actually archive because I don't want to give money to Bloomberg. Fuck Bloomberg. But plus, look, isn't this great? There's no ads and shit. Oh, look, more great news. Yeah, isn't this great? No fucking more ads and shit. Like, isn't that fantastic? So I try my best to like share the archive links because it's great. So, all right, let's see here. The team originally planned on a remake of the first Uncharted game, released by Naughty Dog in 2007. Okay, still remakes, but whatever. The idea quickly fizzled because it would be expensive and require too much added design work. Instead, the team settled on a remake of Naughty Dog's 2013. They just the same fucking. Are you kidding me? So, it would be too expensive for you to make an Uncharted game. How about you make a Last of Us game instead? A remake of The Last of Us. That doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. I guess because Last of Us is newer. Like I said, I honestly would rather have an Uncharted remake. Honestly, it's a little dated. And think about it. In PS5, 4K 60 frame visuals, like the cutscenes at 4K 60, it would look great. Man, I really hope they don't rewrite it and make it all woke and shit. But that's what Sony's doing these days. At the time, Naughty Dog was in the thick of development on the sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, which would introduce high-fidelity graphics and a new gameplay feature if Mumbar's crew remade the first game to have similar look and feel. The first two games can be packaged together for the PS5. In theory, this would be less expensive. Okay, so they want to redo it and resell the fucking PS. I don't see. I hate The Last of Us 2. I do not want The Last of Us 2. Okay, I don't want to buy your remake if you're going to fucking package it with The Last of Us 2. Because then you're just going to make more money that goes towards The Last of Us 2 and beef up sales for that fucking game. Fuck that game. By pivoting from doing finished work with other games to make their own is difficult since original development teams are competing against hundreds of other teams for all over the world with varying levels of expectations and success, said Dave Lang, founder of the Iron Galaxy Studios, which has served as support team and development studios. The people funding the work are often risk averse, and if they have to pick between teams that have done it before and someone trying to do it, they're okay. That makes sense, I guess, but they're literally just remaking another game. I guess just because it's a newer property, but instead of remaking Uncharted, we're gonna remake The Last of Us. That makes no sense to me. At the time, Sony was going through management shuffle, and the new boss wasn't impressed. Herman Holst, the former head of Guerrilla Games, was named head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios in November 2019. At the same time, Sony was going through a management shuffle, and the new boss wasn't impressed. Herman Holst, the former lead of Guerrilla Games, was named head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios in 2019. He thought the remake project was too expensive, according to people familiar with the matter, and asked why the planned budget for T1X was so much higher than remakes Sony made from the past. This reason was that this was a brand new graphical engine for the PS5. Mumbar needed to hire more people to help rework the graphics and a new technology, as well as redesign gameplay mechanics. Holst wasn't convinced, the people said. Okay, so he wanted to redesign he wanted to redesign the entire game, and just when I hoped to enter production on the remake of The Last of Us, Mumbar's team got called in to help when another big game fell apart. Release of The Last of Us 2 had been pushed to 2020 from 2019, and Naughty Dog needed the visual service group to polish it off. Most of Boomer's team, along with some of the 200 or so other staff and visual group, were assigned to support Naughty Dog slow progress on their own game.